All right, guys, I thought I would just give you a short video with some installation tips. Keep in mind every bike is going to be different, so this is just going to be a collection of just a couple of tips showing you how to put it together, but nothing too crazy. You're going to have to figure out specific things for your bike on your own. All right, so step number one on installation is we need to get our power cable installed in our mount. So like we saw on the unboxing, you just slip the cable up through there and then tilt it back, and we need to get our little tiny screw in that hole. So clear yourself some space, and you're gonna need a little tiny Phillips head screwdriver and the bag that has those two little tiny screws in it. It comes with two, you only need one, but try not to lose them because they are tiny. It helps if your screwdriver is magnetic, which mine sort of is, and you just line it up. Wow, that was really lucky I got that on the first shot. There you go, that's installed. This other little tiny screw, you don't need it. Keep it if you want, otherwise it's just garbage. Then you're gonna decide, are you gonna use the ram mount, or does your bike have a different mount set up on it already? I have this SW Motec clamp style, bolt-on style, whatever you want to call it, mount that goes on the upper dash on my bike, and then it gives you this flat surface with the holes in it that this bracket fits onto. And my old Zumo, the 396, I had to actually drill a hole in here to make it work. One thing that's really nice on this style is the cable comes out of here flat, and you don't actually need a hole here for this mount. So we're gonna open that bag of hardware and bolt this together. Again, these are all little tiny parts, don't lose anything. I don't think you get any extras in this bag. Now you'll see there's these spacers that come in this bag, and those go in like that. Might help to put a screw through it to get them started, and then you can pull. There you go. That's probably the trick for getting all of those other ones. You get your spacers inserted in the rubber holes on the mount, and then you can assemble everything together. All right, we got that thing put together. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is a fiddly job. You've got to hold like 3 different things at once and line up these teeny tiny little nuts to get them started, but it did eventually work. I got it all together. Just wanted to let you know that it is kind of an annoying task to do. So now we've got our quick release mount mounted to, in my case, this mount that clips onto the bike, or you may be using this mount, so you can use the ram arm. And the only thing I wanted to note on this is before you go and start running the wires on your bike, make sure that you keep track of this little rubber cap. It's got a little hook on it, and you can connect it to the cable right here just so it doesn't slide down, because you use this when you've got the GPS off of your bike. You want to cover up those contacts right there, and this little rubber cap kind of snaps onto that and protects them. They are brass, I believe, and if they're out in the weather for too long, they're going to corrode. So just keep that little cap on there. And the last thing you want to have happen is you go and do this installation and you look at your finished work and realize this cap is somewhere along the wire underneath your gas tank or somewhere else. So before you start installation, clip that onto the wire so it doesn't get lost. Now we'll head over to the bike and talk about running wires and the final steps of installation. All right, guys, we're over here at the bike, and keep in mind, every single bike is going to be different. So I'm not going to go over exactly how to make this installation work on your specific bike. I just wanted to point out that it's important that you hook this up to a switched power source, not directly to your battery, so that you can avoid killing your battery when your bike is parked. On my motorcycle, the fastest way or the easiest way to get to a switch power source is to pull the headlight out. So I've got my headlight off right here, and these two connectors right here, these blue connections, this is a switched power source on my bike. The brown is ground, and the yellow with red stripe is the power, the positive. I put these blade terminal connectors on here just to make the installation a little bit easier if I ever decide to change to a different GPS, which I have done. I had the 396, now I've got this XT. Requires a different cable, so I can do this without having to get crimpers out and make new connections there. So again, just stressing, find a switched power source. If you don't understand what that means or you don't know how to do that on your bike, consult with somebody that does understand that. Going straight to your battery will work, but it may leave you stranded someday, which is not fun. All right, guys, last thing I wanted to talk about for the installation is choosing the placement of the mount. Whether you decide to use the RAM mount, or if your bike has some sort of a different mount. Like you can see, I actually went with mounting it right here on my bike. Most people, I would imagine, are going to be using the RAM mount either on their handlebars or somewhere else on the bike. The easiest place to put it is just right on your handlebars, and you can see I've actually got one of the handlebar mounts, just this lower piece on here. I don't actually use that for a GPS. I put my phone on there. Keep in mind when you're deciding where you're going to put this, that if you run a tank bag, which I do, or you've got some other sort of restriction on the front of your bike, make sure that when you turn, this mount isn't going to interfere with your tank bag or whatever else it might be. And that'll pretty much cover installation. Like I said, every single bike is going to be different. You're going to have to decide how you want to tear off your fairings and run the wiring, where you want to connect. I do suggest that you go to switched power, not directly to battery. And that's really it. All right, here we are with the finished product. This is how the dash now looks on my motorcycle. And I hope that somebody found that helpful. And if you did, I would sure appreciate a like and a subscribe. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.